everybody, this is Tom from VermiBag. This is the very first VermiBag Minimist that I made, the very first prototype. It's slightly different than the ones that I'm selling. And the only difference between this one and the ones that I sell now is I shortened it up. I made this first one way too deep. So the bags that are for sale on my website and on eBay and Amazon and different places are about 4 inches shorter. There's no reason for that added extra depth. So I set this up about almost a month ago now. I've been running it. So I wanted to take a quick peek into it and just show you how well the worms are doing. The system is really retaining moisture very well. I kind of expected it to condensate on the lid and have a lot of extra condensation in it because I've been giving it some pretty wet feedings, but surprisingly it hasn't. I've had a little condensation on the sides of the bag, but nothing on the lid. And this lid is actually made out of a breathable cordura. So even though the sides of this bag don't breathe and they'll hold the moisture in really well, the bottom and also the top are made out of a cordura that breathes. So the system still gets a lot of airflow throughout the system. And so far it's been working just wonderful. I can't be happier with the results of it. So let's take a peek inside and see how the worms are doing in here. Pull back the burlap. I added some eggshells that this morning. Zoom in here a little bit. So I have a fair amount of cardboard in this system as well. But you can see, the cardboard, there's worms just everywhere in between the layers of the cardboard. You can see the amount of worms in here too. They're doing really well. I have been feeding this fairly moist material. My concern was that the bag would start condensating really bad and dripping back into the system. But that hasn't been the case. I've been pleasantly surprised. Here's part of a sweet potato. Those white sweet potatoes that I put in there. I really like it. It's like a platter of worms. They're working on this pretty good. The moisture content in the bag is actually really nice. It's on the wetter side, I would say. It's fine, but it's on the wetter side of fine. So a lot of worms there too. I think this is another piece of a sweet potato. Yeah, it is. So let's see if I can center this. Yeah, they're really sweet potato pie. Yeah, I can't ask for anything better. Moisture-wise, it's perfect. I think I'm going to take one scoop way down deep, just see what it's like down towards the bottom a little bit. Material down really deep, and no, it's not muddy at all. It's nice and moist. Still chunks of paper and stuff down there. So I added a fair amount of material to this to start it off. It was probably about 15 inches, so they may not get to the bottom. So when I do a harvest on this, there may be some unprocessed material at the bottom, but once I go through that material and they get into this upper section, it'll be fine. So overall, the system is working out really, really well. I mean, I can't be happier. It holds moisture very well. There hasn't been any condensation. Zoom out a little bit here. There hasn't been any condensation on the sides of the bag. Well, I shouldn't say that. There has been a little bit of condensation on the sides of the bag, but there hasn't been anything at all on the lid. But even today with all those melons and a bunch of other stuff I put in the squash, There's nothing. It's dry on the outside and it's dry on the lid. So the system's doing a good job of maintaining the moisture that's in the system and not actually getting overwhelmed and having to condensate and recycle it through the system. So that's it. I'll start doing updates on this weekly, and hopefully there'll be a few other people that I sent bags to that will start seeing some more results on how the VermiBag Minimist is working for people. I sent some to people that are in really dry areas and also some people that are in some very humid areas and also some cold areas. So I'll be really curious to get feedback from them, and hopefully they'll be posting some of that stuff, and we'll see how this bag is actually handling it. But overall, again, from my opinion, is the system's working really great. I think this is going to be a really good overall bag. And on most of the VermiBags now, I'm actually switching. The standard is going to be a solid lid like this on the minis and the maxes. You can still get the vented lid if you want, but you have to order it separately and request it as a special order. Because I think this lid overall probably works better than the vented lid even. This provides enough ventilation, but not too much. And it traps a lot more moisture in there. If you live in a super wet area, real humid, you probably want to opt for the vented lid, get a little bit more airflow. But I think for the majority of the people, this would be the perfect lid for them. So that's it for this week. And like right now for the holidays, I do have the Minimist on the website for $69. A great deal for the bag. I'm going to run that until I run out of inventory. And if you're thinking about getting a bag, get that. And for a limited time right now, I'm also going to include a bag for crushing eggshells. If you haven't seen the video on that, works really slick. It's real simple, not much to it, but I'm still going to include that with any bags that are purchased over the next month probably. Anyway, that's it for this week. Till next week's update on the Minimist, this is Tom from VermiBag. Ciao.